The waitstaff at Bella Rosa huddle near the entrance of the private dining room, whispering. Their eyes dart toward me, then away. I pretend not to notice as I smooth the fabric of my wrapped dress and check my phone for the 100th time. 6 empty place settings mock me from the white tablecloth. Each setting perfect, untouched. Wine glasses catching the amber glow of the wall sconces. The room feels too big for just one person. Can I get you something while you wait? The waiter's voice carries that particular tone reserved for people dining alone, gentle, almost apologetic. A glass of the house red, please. My voice stays steady. Professional. The same voice I use in quarterly budget meetings when delivering bad news to the board. The texts I sent last week sit in my phone, each one read but unanswered. Remember, birthday dinner at Bella Rosa, 7 p.m. sharp. Private room reserved. Don't forget, dinner tonight. Can't wait to see everyone. Heading to the restaurant now. See you soon. The wine arrives. I take a small sip, letting the warmth spread through my chest. The clock on my phone shows 8:07 p.m. A notification pops up. Rachel, my college roommate who moved to Seattle years ago, has tagged me in a comment. My thumb hovers over it for a moment before I tap. The photo loads, my stomach drops. Travis's backyard. My brother's signature grin as he mans the grill, spatula raised like a trophy. Mom and her favorite lawn chair head thrown back in laughter. The cousins clustered around the patio table. Smoke rising from the barbecue into the evening sky. Posted 20 minutes ago. Caption. Spontaneous family BBQ with our favorite guy Travis, deserves a little fun. The comments scroll past in a blur until I see it. Someone asking, where's Dana? Travis's reply appears below. She had other plans. The wine turns sour in my mouth. I set the glass down with careful precision, my fingers trembling slightly. The bank app on my phone opens with my fingerprint. The list of recurring payments stares back at me. Sunrise Assisted Living, minus $620 monthly. Auto Lease Direct, minus $235 monthly. Mountain View Utilities, minus $189.47 monthly. Each one a thread in the web, holding my family together. Each one carefully budgeted for my senior financial coordinator's salary, while I live in a modest apartment on the unfashionable side of town. Last month's American Express statement shows the Christmas presents I'm still paying off. Spring break trip I funded for Travis's kids. The emergency dental work for mom that insurance wouldn't cover. My phone buzzes. Another comment on the photo. Looking good, Morrison family. A memory surfaces sharp, unwanted. Last year's birthday card from mom, her looping handwriting. You always know what matters most. At the time, I thought it was a compliment. The waiter approaches again, uncertainty in his step. Ma'am? Will your party still be new? I reach for my purse, extract 2 20s. No. I place the bills on the table. They won't be coming. I'm so sorry. He means it. Can I wrap up something for you to take home? No, thank you. I stand, shoulders back, spine straight. The room was lovely. I appreciate your service. The walk to my car feels longer than usual. Each click of my heels on pavement marks another moment I won't get back. Another dinner I planned, another celebration stolen by Travis's spontaneity, another reminder that I matter most when writing checks. I drive past the familiar turns toward Travis's house, past mom's assisted living facility, with its manicured lawns that my monthly payments maintain, past the duplex where my former sister-in-law raises my niece with the utilities I keep running. The apartment complex looks different tonight. Smaller. Or maybe I'm seeing it clearly for the first time and not as a temporary stopping place while I support everyone else, but as a testament to everything I've given up. I drove home, disappointed in myself. In the apartment, I removed my jewelry piece by piece. The earrings I bought for special occasions that never seemed to include me. The bracelet that cost less than 1 month of Travis's car payment. The dress I wore to impress family who couldn't be bothered to show up. Each item finds its place in my jewelry box. Each movement precise, controlled. The time for tears will come later, but not now. Not yet. My phone lights up again. 3 missed calls from mom. 5 texts from Travis. 7 notifications from the family group chat. I turn the phone face down on my dresser. They'll notice the silence eventually. They always do, when they need something. But tonight, the silence belongs to me. For once, I won't be the one to break it. With this in mind, I sit in front of my laptop and start cleaning, starting from the bank accounts, documents, shared passwords, etc. I think it's time to stop being a provider. The laptop screen bathes my kitchen in cold light at 2 a.m. Bank accounts and spreadsheets fill multiple browser tabs. My fingers rest on the trackpad, not quite touching the cancel recurring payment button for Mom's assisted living facility. A text from 6 months ago glows on my phone. Dana, you're a lifesaver. Don't know what we'd do without you. Mom sent after I covered her dental surgery. The empty restaurant table from tonight flashes through my mind. Place settings untouched. The first click feels like breaking glass. Mom's rent payment canceled. My chest tightens, but my hand stays steady. Travis's car lease payments come next. His grateful voice echoes from Christmas morning. Best sister ever. The kids can't wait to take road trips in this. The same kids who right now sleep in beds bought with my credit card while their father grilled burgers at a party I wasn't welcome to attend. Click. Gone. The utilities for Sarah's placemate, former sister-in-law, raising my niece vanish with another decisive tap. Last Easter, she hugged me tight. You're the only one who's never let us down. The words curdle in my memory. Excel opens with a soft chime. 6 years of carefully tracked support unfold in neat columns. Every emergency covered without question. Every just this once that became permanent. Christmas lists fulfilled, while I wore last year's coat. Their family vacations funded during weeks I worked overtime to afford them. The total at the bottom of the spreadsheet stops my breath. $75,842.16. Numbers don't lie. They don't forget birthdays either, even though my family does. 2 days later, my phone lights up at 8 a.m. I've been staring at the ceiling for hours, since I couldn't sleep at all listening to the neighbor's wind chimes. Honey, did something glitch with the rent this month? Mom's voicemail carries that familiar note of assumed authority. 3 missed calls follow. Travis's text buzzes in. Car company said the lease is unpaid, what's up? Call me as soon as possible. Sarah's message arrives last. Utilities showing past due. Everything okay? The power company called. The morning sun warms my kitchen table. I pour coffee into my favorite Muga gift to myself last Christmas while I shopped for everyone else. The familiar aroma fills my nose as I set my phone face down on the table. The silence wraps around me like a blanket. My Instagram opens to the photo I took 2 nights ago. The untouched birthday cake sits in elegant solitude. 7 unlit candles casting shadows across white frosting. My fingers type the caption slowly. Wild how the person footing everyone's bills never gets his seat at the table. Comments flood in within minutes. Rachel from accounting. Wait, what? They stood you up on your birthday? My college roommate. Dana, you've been paying their bills this whole time? My neighbor Susan. Girl, we need to talk. Coming over with wine tonight. The group chat notifications stack up. I watch them pile higher without opening a single one. The morning stretches peaceful and uninterrupted until my doorbell rings at 11. Aunt Marla stands in the hallway, her silver hair catching the fluorescent light. I brought coffee cake, she says, holding up a familiar blue tin. Think we need to talk. She settles at my kitchen table, cutting neat squares of cake. Her fingers tremble slightly. I didn't know about the dinner, she says finally. Nobody told me. I sip my coffee, let the silence stretch. Did you enjoy Travis's BBQ? The fork freezes halfway to her mouth. The what? The spontaneous family BBQ. At Travis's house. During my birthday dinner. Color drains from her face. That was your birthday? The same birthday I've had for 35 years. My voice stays level. The one I sent reminders about last week. The dinner everyone confirmed they'd attend. Aunt Marla sets her fork down with a soft clink. Oh, Dana. Her eyes fix on the bank statements spread across my table. Understanding dawns as she reads the numbers. How long have you been carrying them? 6 years. Since Dad died. The words come out matter of fact. Travis needed help with the kids. Mom couldn't cover assisted living. Sarah was struggling with utilities. And they all just... Aunt Marla's voice trails off. Forgot my birthday? No. I fold my hands in my lap. They remembered. They chose the BBQ anyway. My phone buzzes again. Travis's name lights up the screen. Aren't you going to answer? Aunt Marla asks. I turn the phone face down. No. The morning sun streams through my window, warming my shoulders. I've done enough answering for a lifetime. Aunt Marla reaches across the table, her hand covering mine. Unlike Mom's grip, hers asks for nothing. What do you need? The question catches me off guard. In 6 years of family dinners, emergency calls, and midnight Venmo requests, no one has asked me that. I need. My voice cracks for the first time since the restaurant. I need them to see me. Not my wallet, not my ability to solve their problems. Just me. Aunt Marla squeezes my hand. Beyond my window, the neighbors' wind chimes sing their gentle song. For once, I let the melody play without rushing to fix anything at all. After the conversation, she went home, and I was making plans on what to do with the family issues. Since I know it won't end here, in that way the days just pass by quickly. Travis's knuckles rap against my door at 2 p.m. on the following Tuesday. 3 quick taps, then silence. The sound ricocheted through my apartment like a warning shot. I stand at my kitchen counter staring at the door. The coffee in my mug has gone cold. Dana? His voice filters through, casual as Sunday morning. You home? My fingers grip the edge of the granite. 1 breath. 2. The sharp corners ground me in reality. Hey! Travis's voice again. Softer now. Practiced. You mad? The lock clicks under my fingers. Travis stands in my hallway, hands stuffed in the pockets of his gray hoodie. The same one he wore to Mom's birthday last month, the celebration I planned, paid for, and photographed. I step back, a wordless invitation. He slouches past me, his presence immediately filling my carefully ordered space. While I close the door, he makes a beeline for my refrigerator. The familiar whine of the hinges, the clink of bottles, a lifetime of assumed permission. Got any of that strawberry yogurt left? He peers inside, bending at the waist. The Greek kind? Second shelf. My voice comes out steady, professional, like I'm directing a board meeting instead of watching my brother raid my fridge. Travis emerges with the yogurt and settles onto my couch, sprawling across the cushions. His sneakers, new, probably bought with the emergency fund I set up for his kids' school supplies, leave dirt marks on my cream throw pillow. Look, he starts, peeling back the yogurt lid. It wasn't a big deal, just a last-minute BBQ. Jerry brought his new smoker over, and you know how Mom loves his brisket. The words wash over me like static. Through my living room window, a cardinal lands on the fire escape, bright red against industrial black metal. The bird tilts its head, studying its reflection, then flies away. Mom's worried sick about the rent. Travis's voice cuts through my thoughts. He leans forward, elbows on knees. The facility manager called her yesterday. Something about a payment glitch? I walk to my desk and open the bottom drawer. The manila folder comes out easily. I've handled it so many times these past days, the edges have softened. Did you know I've paid Mom's rent for 6 years? The bank statements spread across my coffee table like fallen leaves. Plus utilities, plus medications, plus the special chair she wanted for her room. Travis's spoon freezes halfway to his mouth. You knew it was my birthday. My voice doesn't waver. You knew where I was. That wasn't forgetfulness. That was a choice. He flinches. Actually flinches. The spoon clatters against the yogurt container. I have the texts. My finger scrolls through my phone. Here's you that Tuesday. Thanks, sis. Rent money came through. You're a lifesaver. And here's you in the family group chat, 3 hours before my birthday dinner. Everyone head over around 6. Bringing the grill out. Dana, come on. 6 years of car payments. Another statement joins the pile. 4 years of covering utilities for Jessica, so she could afford to stay home with Emma. Christmas presents for everyone. Spring break trips I funded but never attended. Emergency dental work. New tires. Broken water heaters. The yogurt container sits forgotten on my coffee table. Travis's face has lost its practiced ease, replaced by something raw and uncertain. I've been holding this family up for years. The words taste like metal in my mouth. But apparently, I don't matter unless I'm paying for something. So you're just going to punish Mom too? His voice rises, defensive. She had nothing to do with. Nothing to do with it? I grab my phone again. Here's Mom in the group chat, day of my birthday. Travis's BBQ sounds wonderful. I'll bring my potato salad. She knew I was supposed to be. You all did. The silence stretches between us like a rubber band, ready to snap. Look. Travis stands, runs a hand through his hair. I'll fix this, okay? I'll get a better job. Pay you back. We can have another birthday dinner. No. The word comes out soft but final. You can't fix this with words, only actions matter now. What do you want from me? 3 things. I've rehearsed this list in my head for days. First, no more automatic financial support. If you need help, you ask directly and explain why. Second, you acknowledge what happened on my birthday wasn't okay. Not just the BBQ, the years of taking me for granted. Third, you start showing up for me the way I've shown up for you. My time matters, my feelings matter, my presence matters. Travis paces my small living room, a caged animal seeking escape. And if we don't, then you learn to live without my help. I gather the bank statements, sliding them back into their folder. You all made your lives comfortable using violence. I'm just letting the silence speak for once. He stops at my door, hand on the knob. The brother I grew up with suddenly looks smaller, diminished by truth. Dana? His voice cracks slightly. I really screwed up, didn't I? The cardinal returns to my fire escape, pecking at something invisible. This time, it stays. Yes, I say quietly. You did. The door closes behind him with a soft click. In the sudden quiet, I can hear the hum of my refrigerator, the tick of my wall clock, the rustle of papers beneath my hands. The sounds of a life I built while building everyone else's breezes. End of quote. My phone buzzes, the family group chat lighting up with messages. I turn it face down on the coffee table. Some silences need to be heard. I spent the rest of the week without my family, so I had more time to focus on what's more important, me and my life. But this is not the end of trouble. Tuesday next week, my phone vibrates against the kitchen counter. The screen lights up with Mom's incoming caller, 5th this morning. Next to her missed call notification sits an email from Sunrise Assisted Living, subject line, urgent, 10, day notice. I take a sip of coffee, letting the bitter warmth spread through my chest. The morning sun filters through my kitchen window, catching dust motes in its beam. Oliver, my gray tabby, stretches lazily on the windowsill, unbothered by the growing storm of notifications. Another buzz. Travis this time. The car lease company must have contacted him about the missed payment. His text appears above the others. Dana? What the actual hell? The quiet of my apartment wraps around me like a blanket. No panicked family members bursting through the door. No guilt-laden voice messages playing on speaker. Just the soft purr of Oliver and the gentle hum of my refrigerator. My former sister-in-law Jennifer's message arrives next. Utility company called, said service will be disconnected in 48 hours if payment not received. The kids have a science project due. Please, Dana. I set my mug in the sink, watching the last few coffee grounds swirl down the drain. The family group chat explodes with activity. Words like emergency and crisis flash across my screen. Aunt Marla's voice of reason trying to calm the waters. Cousin Sarah suggesting someone talk some sense into Dana. My laptop sits open on the kitchen table. Email inbox filling with payment overdue notices. Each one a small earthquake in the carefully constructed world my family built on my foundation. Each one a crack in their certainty that Dana will fix everything. A new message from Travis appears in the family chat. Emergency meeting at Mom's place tonight at 7. Everyone needs to be there. Aunt Marla responds immediately. Is Dana invited? Travis's reply comes quick. She's made her position clear. I close the group chat and open my work email instead. The quarterly financial reports need reviewing. Client portfolios wait for my attention. Numbers that make sense. Numbers that don't come with emotional baggage. My mother's voicemail notification pops up. I press play, setting the phone on speaker while I type. Honey, I don't understand what I did wrong. Her voice breaks. Whatever it is, we can fix it. Please call me back, the facility manager says. Well, just call me, please. The cousins start texting one by one. First Sarah. Family means standing together. You're being selfish. Then Mike. Remember when Mom and Dad helped your mom after Dad walked out? That's what family does. Finally, Rebecca. You're breaking your mother's heart. Hope you're proud of yourself. I block each number methodically, like sorting papers into their proper files. Travis's Facebook post appears on my feed. Tough times reveal who really cares about family. Prayers appreciated during his family difficulties. The comments roll in. Mutual friends choosing sides. Some expressing shock at my cruelty. Others asking careful questions about what led to this moment. Aunt Marla's comment stands out. There are always two sides to a family story. Sometimes the quietest person has carried the heaviest load. A private message from Jennifer lands in my inbox. Not a demand this time. Not a guilt trip. Just words that took too long to arrive. I never thanked you properly for all you've done. Not just the money, but the way you've been there for the kids. For me. I understand why you needed to stop. I'm sorry we made you feel invisible. My fingers hover over the keyboard. The easy response would be to slip back into the role of fixer, of provider. The words come slowly. Thank you for understanding. I appreciate your apology. I hope you know this isn't about hurting anyone. It's about finally being honest about what hurts. The family group chat notification blinks again. I open it. One last time. The screen fills with their voices talking over each other, planning ways to reason with me, discussing how to handle the situation. My message lands in their chat like a stone in still water. I didn't cut anyone off. I stopped doing things no one ever thanked me for. Before they can respond, I type again. You skipped my birthday. You pretended I didn't exist. I'm just following your lead. The chat falls silent. Individual message requests pop up one by one, each family member trying a different angle, each one discovering that my silence speaks louder than their words. End of conversation. I return to my work and emails. A week passes. Changes ripple through the family like wind through tall grass. Travis posts a job application status. Starting delivery driving next week. Time to stand on my own 2 feet. Mom's carefully worded email arrives. The facility manager and I worked out a payment plan. I should have done this years ago instead of depending on you. Aunt Marla's text comes without pressure or judgment. When you're ready to talk, I'm happy to help the family understand your perspective. No rushing, no pushing. Just offering a bridge if you want one. The demands turn to requests. The accusations fade to apologies. The entitlement cracks like old paint, revealing something new underneath. I watch from my quiet apartment as my family learns to swim without using me as their lifeguard. Oliver curls in my lap, purring against my chest. On my laptop screen, a pending payment reminder for Mom's facility blinks silently. My finger hovers over the Pay Now button. The old impulse to fix everything rises like muscle memory. I close the laptop. Some lessons can only be learned in the deep end. On Wednesday morning, the Starbucks on 16th Street buzzes with its usual morning crowd. Through the window, I watch my family arrive one by one, clustering awkwardly near the entrance. Mom smooths her cardigan. Travis paces. The cousins huddle together, sneaking glances at their phones. Aunt Marla stands apart, her silver hair catching the morning light. My watch shows 9:58 a.m., 2 minutes early. The bell chimes as I push through the door. Conversations halt. Bodies shift. The family parts like water, creating a path to their chosen table. No one quite meets my eyes. Dana. Mom half rises, her hand extended toward mine. I slide into the empty chair beside her, letting her fingers grasp air. Travis clears his throat. Thanks for coming. I nod, setting my purse on the table. The leather makes a soft thud against wood. Around us, other customers type on laptops, chat with friends, live their ordinary lives. My family perches on their chairs like birds ready for flight. I ordered your usual. Mom's voice wavers. Vanilla latte, extra shot. Thank you, but I already had coffee. The words come out gentle, professional, the same tone I use with difficult clients who think they can ignore their payment schedules. Silence stretches, someone's phone buzzes, no one reaches for it. Mom breaks first. We're family. Her fingers twist a paper napkin into rope. Family forgives. I can pay you back. Travis leans forward, elbows on knees. Not all at once, but over time. I've got that new job at. Everyone makes mistakes. Aunt Marla cuts in. Nobody's perfect, Dana. The cousins study their coffee cups. Steam rises in lazy spirals. Outside, a bus rumbles past, its brakes squealing against the morning traffic. I let the silence build. Let them fill it with nervous shifts and half-started sentences. Let them feel the weight of everything unsaid. For years, my voice stays quiet, controlled. I thought family meant sacrificing without recognition. Mom's napkin shreds beneath her fingers. I gave because I loved you. The truth flows now, steady as a heartbeat. Not because I had to. Not because you needed it. Because I wanted to show love the way I knew how. Travis opens his mouth, closes it. But that night at the restaurant, a customer's chair scrapes nearby. When you chose Travis's barbecue over my birthday, that wasn't about money. That wasn't about scheduling conflicts or misunderstandings. The cousins won't look up from their cups. That was a statement, clear as daylight. My presence doesn't matter. My hands rest flat on the table, steady. Only my financial support does. The silence stretches, grows, takes on weight. A tear trails down Mom's cheek. I took you for granted. We all did. Travis's voice cracks. His usual smooth confidence splinters. I've been selfish. God, Dana, I'm so sorry. My former sister-in-law Sarah wipes her eyes. You were the glue, we knew it. We just got comfortable letting you hold everything together. Dana deserves better. Aunt Marla's hand finds my shoulder. From all of us. The morning light streams through the windows, painting shadows across our little gathering. The coffee shop hum continues around us. Espresso machines whirring, customers chatting, life moving forward. I pull a folded paper from my purse, set it on the table. These are my terms for moving forward. They lean in, shoulders tight. No more automatic financial support. My finger taps each point. If you need help, you ask directly. Respectfully, and you acknowledge the help when it comes. Nods around the table. We share holidays, birthday celebrations, family dinners. Not just when it's convenient, not just when Travis decides to fire up his grill. Travis flinches. My birthday matters. The words come out firm. My time matters. My presence matters, not just my wallet. Yes, Mom's voice strengthens. Yes to all of it. And one more thing. I need each pair of eyes. I need you to see me. Not as the responsible one, not as the fixer, not as the bank, just me. Sarah reaches across the table. Her fingers hover near mine. We can do that. We will do that, Aunt Marla corrects. The morning sun warms my back. Outside, the city wakes fully to life. Somewhere in the distance, a siren wails. Inside our coffee shop bubble, my family shifts and settles, adjusting to this new reality. Travis straightens. So what happens now? Now? I gather my purse, stand. Now we see if actions match words. Mom's hand catches my wrist. This time, I let it stay. Will you come to Sunday dinner? Sarah's cooking. I pause. Consider. What time? 6. Sarah smiles, tentative. I'm making that chicken thing you like. I'll bring wine. The words come easily. Not a promise, not an obligation, just a choice. And I get up, leaving them behind. The bell chimes as I push through the door. Behind me, my family's reflection wavers in the glass. They remain seated, watching me go. For once, I walk away knowing they see me. Really see me. The morning air fills my lungs. Fresh, clean, new. Sometimes the hardest boundaries to draw are the ones that should have been there all along. It's been a year since I first realized that, but knowing it and living it have turned out to be two very different things. A year later, a knock at my door breaks the evening quiet. I glance at my phone, 7:04 p.m. No texts, no reminders set, just another Tuesday in April. The knock comes again, softer this time. Oliver, my gray tabby, lifts his head from the windowsill and blinks at me with mild interest. I open the door to find my entire family crowded in the hallway of my apartment building. Mom clutches a small cake box from Giovanni's bakery. Travis holds what looks like handmade cards. Aunt Marla stands slightly behind them, a knowing smile on her face. Happy birthday, Dana, Mom's voice wavers. No one moves to hug me, not yet. They wait, watching my face with careful attention I'd never seen before last year. I step back, holding the door wider. Come in. They file into my living room, the same room where I'd stripped off my wrap dress last year, where I'd turned my phone face down and let silence become my shield. Now they settle onto my couch and armchair, leaving the spot closest to the window, favorite empty for me. Travis sets a chocolate cupcake on my coffee table. A single candle flickers in its center. Made it myself, he says, rubbing the back of his neck. Kelly helped with the frosting, but I did most of it. You baked? The question slips out before I can stop it. YouTube tutorials. He shrugs, but pride edges into his voice. Turns out, following instructions isn't that hard when you actually try. Mom places her cake box next to Travis's cupcake. We know it's not Bella Rosa, she says, but we thought maybe something smaller might mean more. The memory of last year's empty private dining room flashes through my mind. 7 place settings. Nobody came. But the people who didn't show up then sit in my living room now, watching me with eyes that carry the weight of 12 months' worth of learning. Open this one first. Aunt Marla hands me an envelope. Inside, I find a letter in Mom's familiar handwriting. My fingers trace the edges of the paper, remembering last year's birthday card. You always know what matters most. This letter begins differently. I see you now. Travis clears his throat. Got something else for you, too. He pulls out his wallet, removes a folded paper. My last car payment. He smooths it flat on the coffee table. Bought it myself. Used, but it runs. No more lease payments needed. Travis. Not asking for praise, he cuts in. Just wanted you to know. I'm handling my own stuff now. Mom touches my hand. The assisted living facility gave me a part-time job in their office. Just 3 days a week, but it helps with the rent. I should have done it years ago instead of... She stops, swallows. Instead of taking you for granted. A thick photo album appears in my lap. I take it from the shelf in my living room. The cover reads, "The Year We Grew Up." Inside, pictures tell the story of 12 months I hadn't witnessed directly. Travis in his delivery uniform. Mom at her desk in the facility's office. My former sister-in-law Sarah's monthly updates about my niece, each one addressed to Aunt Dana with increasing warmth. Thank you for teaching us all dignity, Aunt Marla says quietly. The words hang in the air between us, heavy with truth. I turn another page in the album. A photo of the empty table at Bella Rosa stares back at me. Someone must have taken it that night. Beside it, a more recent picture. All of us at Aunt Marla's dinner table last month, plates of pot roast and green beans scattered between us. Everyone had brought something. Everyone had helped clean up. My fingers brush the edge of the Bella Rosa photo. The ache is still there, but duller now, like a bruise nearly healed. We'd like to take you to dinner, Mom says. If you want, everyone pitched in. We made reservations at that new Italian place on Pearl Street. I study their faces, nervous, hopeful, but not demanding. No one reaches for their phone. No one makes excuses about other plans. They wait for my answer with the patience of people who have learned that time belongs to everyone equally. Yes, I say, I'd like that. We gather our coats. Travis holds the door. Mom links her arm through mine as we walk to the elevator, a gesture that would have felt manipulative a year ago but now carries only warmth. And we went together to celebrate my birthday. At the restaurant, the waiter brings separate checks without being asked. Small thing, but it matters. No one expects me to reach for my wallet first. The conversation flows easily, punctuated by genuine laughter. Stories of Travis's first attempts at baking, Mom's adventures, learning the facility's filing system, my niece's latest soccer game, which I attended last weekend. To Dana, Aunt Marla raises her wine glass. Who showed us that love isn't measured in dollar signs? The toast ripples around the table. In their eyes, I see what I've wanted all along. Recognition not of what I give, but of who I am. A year ago, I sat alone in a private dining room, writing the final check on a life built around others' needs. Tonight, I sit with my family in a crowded restaurant, writing the first chapter of something new, something real. The waiter brings my dessert tiramisu with a single candle. As I lean forward to blow it out, I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the window. The woman looking back at me isn't just the one who writes the checks or fixes the problems. She's simply Dana. And finally, that's enough. The autumn sunlight streams through my windows, creating golden patterns across the dining table I spent 3 hours arranging. 24 place settings with vintage china I collected over months. 24 crystal glasses catching the light. 24 empty chairs. My phone chimes again. The sound pierces the silence like an accusation. I've been avoiding it for the past hour, but the notifications won't stop. With trembling fingers, I pick it up, the weight of it suddenly unbearable. The screen illuminates with a flood of social media alerts. And there they are, all of them. Mom and Dad beaming beside Brandon, in what must be his new apartment. Aunt Susan raising a champagne flute. Uncle Robert with his arm around my cousin Melissa. Grandmother looking frail but happy in the corner of the frame. My mother's caption reads, "So proud of our boy's first home purchase. The Taylor family is celebrating Brandon's big milestone." I swipe to the next photo. More family, more smiles, more champagne. Then a video starts playing. Brandon, his perfectly white teeth flashing as he laughs with two of our cousins. Macy's always showing off with her fancy renovation posts. Today is my day. The phone slips from my hand, clattering onto the table. I press my palm against my mouth, but it doesn't stop the sob that escapes. Tears blur my vision as I stare at the untouched appetizers, the wine I splurged on because Dad loves a good Cabernet, the homemade rolls cooling in their basket. Just hours ago, I was humming as I moved around this kitchen. I woke before dawn, too excited to sleep. The morning light had barely touched the old oak floors as I reviewed my handwritten checklist. The invitations sent weeks ago promised a 2 p.m. celebration of my first home. This 1,920 seconds. Craftsman I'd poured my savings and 9 months of sweat equity into restoring. "You're going overboard again," Rachel had said, watching me arrange flowers in the vintage blue vases I'd collected specifically for this day. But her smile was kind as she helped me polish the silverware that once belonged to my grandmother. "I want everything to be perfect," I'd explained, adjusting a napkin for the 4th time. Mom said the house was too small when I bought it. Dad thought the neighborhood was questionable. I need them to see what I've created here. Rachel had squeezed my shoulder. "They should be proud of you regardless." The first sign of trouble came at 1:45 p.m., a text from Mom. "Running a bit late, start without us." By 3:30, my co-workers Jane and Peter had arrived. My elderly neighbor Mrs. Eleanor brought homemade pie. 3 friends from college showed up with wine and heartfelt hugs. But no family. By 4:15, I'd called my parents 7 times, straight to voicemail. Brandon wasn't answering either. My text to aunts and uncles went unread. At 5:08, Aunt Susan finally answered. "Honey, aren't you coming to Brandon's housewarming?" she asked, the background noise nearly drowning her voice. "He bought an apartment downtown. Everyone's here celebrating. Your parents said you knew." My throat tightened. "Brandon rents his apartment. He didn't buy anything." A pause. "Well, that's not what he told everyone. Anyway, he scheduled this last week. Said it was important to him. I sent invitations to my housewarming a month ago," I whispered. "Today, at 2 o'clock. Another pause, longer this time. "Oh dear. Well, we're all here now, but maybe you could stop by later? After your little gathering?" I hung up. Now I sit surrounded by empty chairs meant for people who chose not to come. The loyal 7 who did show up exchange worried glances across the table, laden with cooling food. Mrs. Eleanor, 83 and sharper than most people half her age, rises from her chair. She lifts her glass, her gaze steady and fierce. "Don't let empty chairs steal your joy, dear. Today is Macy's Day." "Kai." The others raise their glasses. Rachel leans close, her voice soft against my ear. "This is your real family, Macy. The ones who choose to be here." My phone lights up again. Mom calling. 7 pairs of eyes watch me, concern etched across their faces. I silence the ringer with one decisive movement and raise my glass to Eleanor's toast. "Not today," I say, my voice steadier than I expected. Today is about the people who showed up. 3 hours later, the last guest waves goodbye, disappearing into the darkness beyond my porch light. Only Rachel remains, helping me wrap leftovers that will feed me for days, a bitter reminder of the empty chairs. "You should stay at my place tonight," Rachel says, sealing another container. "We'll drink wine and watch terrible movies until we fall asleep." I shake my head. I need to be here. This is my home. The word catches in my throat. Home. The concept feels both powerful and fragile after today. The doorbell rings, its chimes slicing through the quiet house. Rachel and I exchange glances. "I'll get it," I say, wiping my hands on a kitchen towel. I open the door to find my mother, Linda Taylor, standing on my porch. Her pearl earrings catch the light as she looks past me into the house, scanning what she can see of my living room. "May I come in?" she asks, not waiting for an answer as she steps forward. I step aside, my stomach tightening. She walks through my entryway, her eyes traveling over the refinished hardwood floors, the original crown molding I spent weeks restoring, the vintage light fixture I hunted down at 3 different antique stores. "It's nice," she says, with a slight purse of her lips, smaller than it looked in pictures. "It's..." The familiar sting of her dismissal burns through my chest. Rachel appears in the doorway between the kitchen and living room, her presence a silent support. "Mom, why are you here?" I ask. Linda drops her purse on my sofa and turns to face me. "Honestly, Macy, I don't understand why you're making such a big deal about today. You're always competing with Brandon, making him feel small. He's finally doing something positive with his life, and you couldn't even show up to support him." The audacity of her statement leaves me momentarily speechless. Rachel's sharp intake of breath is the only sound in the room. I couldn't show up. I finally managed, because I was here, hosting my own housewarming that I invited all of you 2 weeks ago. "Well, these things happen," she says with a wave of her hand. "You know how busy we all are. Brandon only decided on his housewarming a week ago. He was so excited about it. I feel something shift inside me. A week ago? But my invitations went out 4 weeks ago." Linda busies herself adjusting a pillow on my sofa. "Brandon has been going through a rough patch. When he told us he was hosting a little gathering, we thought it would be good for him. Give him some confidence." "He told you it was a rental apartment, not a purchase, right?" I ask, my voice steadier than I feel. Linda's fingers freeze on the pillow. "Well, you know how your brother is with details. What matters is that he's finally taking some initiative." "Mom," I say slowly, realization dawning, "did you know Brandon scheduled his party on the same day as mine?" Her silence answers my question more clearly than words could. "You knew," I whisper. "You all knew. And you helped him pretend he bought a place when he's just renting." The betrayal slices deeper than I thought possible. "You staged a fake celebration to deliberately overshadow mine." "Now, you're being dramatic." Linda straightens, her defense mechanism kicking in. "Not everything is about you, Macy. Brandon needs our support more than you do. You've always been the independent one." "Independent?" The word catches fire in my throat. I've been independent because I had to be. My entire life, you've ignored my achievements while celebrating Brandon's mediocrity. Linda's eyes widened. I've never spoken to her this way before. "When I made the honor roll, you were too busy at Brandon's average football games to attend the ceremony. When I got my scholarship, you spent the night consoling Brandon because he didn't get his, even though he barely maintained a C average." My voice grows stronger with each word. "I worked 3 jobs to put myself through graduate school while you paid Brandon's rent after he dropped out of community college. I saved for 7 years to buy this house while you funded one failed business venture after another for him. We've always supported both of you equally," Linda protests, but the lie hangs hollow in the air between us. "I spent $62,000 and 9 months renovating this house myself," I continue, trembling now. "Every weekend, every vacation day, every spare hour after work. Meanwhile, you criticized my wasteful purchase in a questionable neighborhood without ever bothering to visit." Linda's face hardens. "After all we've done for you." "What exactly have you done for me?" The question erupts from someplace deep and wounded. "Name one thing you've done to support my dreams the way you support Brandon's." Her silence stretches between us. Rachel stands witness to a confrontation decades in the making. "This house is mine," I say, walking to the front door and pulling it open wide. "Earned by me. Get out." Linda's mouth opens in shock. This is not how our conversations end. Usually, I apologize for upsetting her, for being difficult, for existing in a way that requires more than she's willing to give. "Macy Elizabeth Taylor, you do not speak to your mother that way." "I just did," I reply, my voice calm despite the storm inside me. "Please leave." She gathers her purse, her shoulders stiff with indignation. "Your father will hear about this." "I'm sure he will." As the door closes behind her, I lean against it, feeling both hollow and somehow fuller than before. Rachel approaches quietly, wrapping her arms around me. "I'm proud of you," she whispers. Morning sunlight streams through my kitchen windows when the doorbell rings again. I've barely slept, replaying last night's confrontation in endless loops. When I open the door, my father, Charles Taylor, stands on the porch alone, his tall frame slightly stooped, his expression uncharacteristically uncertain. "May I come in?" he asks softly. I step aside wordlessly. Unlike my mother, he pauses in the entryway, taking in the details of my home with genuine attention. Could I see it? He asks. The house, all of it. I lead him through each room. The kitchen with its restored original cabinets. The living room with built-in bookshelves I sanded by hand. The office where I work remotely 2 days a week. The guest bedroom that Rachel helped me paint a soft sage green. In my backyard, he stops by the vegetable garden beds I built last month. You did all this yourself? He asks. Most of it, I answer. Friends helped with the bigger projects. He nods slowly. It's beautiful, Macy. You've created something special here. The compliment, the first genuine one I can remember from him, lands awkwardly between us. Brandon told everyone he bought the place, he says suddenly. We knew it wasn't true. The confirmation of their deliberate deception still stings, even though I already knew. Your mother is very upset, he continues. I recognize the familiar pattern, the attempt to re-establish control through guilt. Perhaps if you apologized, we could put this behind us. I won't apologize for telling the truth, I reply, or for expecting basic respect. His expression hardens slightly. You know, Macy, we're not getting any younger, and our estate. I don't need your money, I interrupt. I never did. Something shifts in his face, anger, perhaps, at losing the leverage he thought he had. But in that flash of emotion, I see something else, the pattern that has defined my entire life. You gave Brandon 3 business loans, I say quietly. The sports equipment shop that closed in 6 months, the food truck he sold after 3 weeks. The investment scheme was actually a pyramid scheme. He has potential, my father replies automatically. He just needs support to find his way. And what about me? Did I ever have potential worth supporting? His silence speaks volumes. A car pulls into my driveway. Rachel emerges with an older woman I recognize as her friend, Dr. Elaine Foster. Behind them, Mrs. Eleanor parks her ancient Buick, stepping out with a covered dish in her hands. My phone chimes with messages from coworkers who attended yesterday, sending photos and supportive texts. I should go, my father says, watching the arrivals with a frown. Your mother expects you to call and apologize. The family has been through enough drama. You can't threaten me with family estrangement when that's already my reality, I reply, walking him to the door. He pauses on the threshold. This isn't how family treats each other, Macy. I know, I say quietly. That's the problem. As the door closes behind him, I lean against it, exhaling slowly. Doctor. Foster approaches, her kind eyes assessing me with professional interest. That's the first step, she says gently, recognizing the pattern. The little red notification dot on my Instagram app has been haunting me for 7 days. Every time I unlock my phone, it stares back, daring me to peek at the damage my family continues to inflict. I'm sitting in my home office, surrounded by the pale green walls I painted myself, when my phone buzzes with another text. Aunt Susan again. Your mother is very upset. When are you going to apologize? I set the phone down on my desk without responding. The wooden surface still smells faintly of lemon oil from yesterday's polishing. Through the window, I can see the maple tree in my backyard, its leaves turning golden in the October sunlight. Brandon's Instagram remains unchanged since the day of my housewarming. His profile still prominently features the apartment purchase announcement, complete with champagne toasts and congratulatory comments from relatives who never bothered to verify a word of it. Enough, I whisper to the empty room. I pick up my phone and open my camera roll. There, waiting, is the photo Rachel took 3 months ago. Me standing on the porch of my Craftsman, holding the keys, face flushed with pride and exhaustion. The caption forms in my mind with perfect clarity as I type, renovation completed on my first home purchase. From rewiring to refinishing these 100-year-old floors myself. Thanks to everyone who supported this journey. First-time homeowner. Renovation. Craftsman style. I hit post without mentioning the betrayal, without tagging a single family member. The memory of buying this house washes over me. Working 60-hour weeks between my data engineering job and weekend freelance coding. Living in a studio apartment with furniture from college to save every possible dollar. Losing 3 homes in bidding wars before finally getting the call about this Craftsman that needed too much work for most buyers. That moment, standing alone in the empty living room after signing the papers, pressing my palm against the worn wooden archway, No parents to celebrate with, no brother to help move furniture. Just me, a set of keys, and a house that needed as much care as I did. How different from Brandon's situation, the downtown apartment our parents helped secure with first and last month's rent. The furniture they purchased, the moving service they paid for. My phone pings with a message from Katie, my father's sister's daughter and the only relative who seems to see the situation clearly. Thought you should see this. Her text reads, followed by screenshots of the extended family group chat. My stomach tightens as I scroll through the messages. Aunt Susan. The situation with Macy is getting out of hand. Linda is beside herself. Uncle Robert. Brandon says she's just jealous of his success. Always has been. Cousin Michael. We all know Macy's always been difficult. Remember the fit she threw at Thanksgiving when she was 16? The fit they're referring to was my reaction when everyone forgot I'd been accepted to MIT with a partial scholarship. They'd spent the entire dinner discussing Brandon's C+ average in high school math. More screenshots follow, revealing the family mythology I've been battling my entire life. Macy the troublemaker. Macy the overly sensitive. Macy who needs to try harder to get along. The weight of their collective dismissal feels like concrete hardening around my chest. Later that day, Dr. Foster's office smells like sandalwood and old books. The leather chair creaks slightly as I shift my weight, recounting the family chat messages. The golden child versus scapegoat dynamic is textbook in your family structure, she says, her voice gentle but matter-of-fact. Brandon has been positioned as the one who can do no wrong, while you're assigned the role of the one who can never do enough. I've suspected this for years, I admit, but seeing it spelled out in that group chat, it's like they're living in an alternate reality. Doctor. Foster leans forward slightly. What would your life look like if you stopped seeking their approval? The question hangs in the air between us. For a moment, I can't breathe. I'd be alone, I whisper finally, cut off completely. Are you sure? She gestures toward the window. From what you've told me, you have Rachel, your colleagues, your neighbor, Mrs. Eleanor, people who choose to see you clearly. I consider this, but they're not family. Aren't they? Dr. Foster asks, her eyes kind. What makes someone family, Macy? The question follows me home, echoing as I pull into my driveway. Rachel's car is already parked out front, along with 3 others I recognize co-workers from the office, paint cans and rollers visible through their car windows. Surprise! Rachel calls from the porch, gesturing to the group behind her. Painting party for the guest bathroom. We brought pizza and wine too. Inside, Mrs. Eleanor is already there, arranging flowers in a vase on my dining table. I brought cuttings from my garden, she explains, and I want to show you how to prune those rose bushes out front before winter. My grandmother taught me, and someone should know these old techniques. Over the next 2 weekends, the house fills with more than paint fumes and sawdust. Laughter echoes through rooms that once felt hollow with expectation. My co-workers, Jane and Peter, become regular dinner guests. Mrs. Eleanor teaches me her grandmother's secrets for growing the perfect tomatoes next spring. The doorbell rings on a Wednesday evening as I'm cooking dinner. Through the frosted glass, I recognize Brandon's silhouette. Immediately the confident stance, one hand casually in his pocket. When I open the door, his smile is as practiced as ever. Hey sis, he says, leaning against the doorframe like we're in a television sitcom. Place looks good. I don't invite him in immediately. What brings you here, Brandon? He has the decency to look slightly uncomfortable. Things got a bit out of hand with the apartment situation. Mom and Dad might have overreacted. It's not an apology. Not really. I step aside and let him enter, watching as he assesses the house with new eyes. Listen, he says, circling back to his actual purpose within minutes. I've got this investment opportunity. Real estate development downtown. Small buy-in, big potential. I thought of you since you're into property now. The familiar pattern unfolds like a worn map. Brandon needs money. Brandon comes to Macy. Brandon expects Macy to provide. How much? I ask, more curious than anything. Just $15,000 to start. I'd pay you back once it takes off. Like the business loans from our parents that were never repaid. Like the temporary stay in his first apartment that they ended up financing for 2 years. I look at my brother, really look at him, perhaps for the first time. The charming smile that doesn't reach his eyes. The expectation of compliance is so deeply ingrained he doesn't even consider I might refuse. You've never seen me clearly, I say quietly, and I finally see you. His face hardens slightly. What's that supposed to mean? It means no, Brandon. I won't be investing in your project. After he leaves, I make a decision that surprises even me. I called my mother and agreed to Sunday dinner at their house, but first, I met with Dr. Foster to prepare. Remember, she says during our session, they'll try to pull you back into old patterns. You don't have to respond the way you always have. Rachel will be waiting nearby, I tell her, just in case. Good. What boundaries are you establishing before you go? I count them off on my fingers. I'll leave if they belittle my house or my choices. I won't discuss lending money to Brandon. I won't stay longer than 90 minutes. Dr. Foster nods. And what's your purpose in going? To see if honesty is possible, I reply. To see if there's anything worth salvaging. Sunday arrives cold and clear. I park in front of my parents' suburban home, its perfect lawn, and matching porch furniture, a stark contrast to my eclectic craftsman. Taking a deep breath, I walk to the door. The silence when I enter the dining room is deafening. Brandon attempts a joke that falls flat. My father clears his throat repeatedly. My mother busies herself with serving dishes, avoiding eye contact. Thank you for coming, Macy, my father finally says. I take my seat at the table. I'm here to see if honesty is possible. The words land like stones in still water. No one seems to know how to respond to direct communication. We make it through most of dinner with strained small talk about weather and neighbors. My mother asks about my job but interrupts before I can fully answer. My father inquires about the house but winces when I mention the new water heater I installed myself. The tension breaks when my mother sets down her fork with a sharp click against fine china. I don't understand why you had to buy such an expensive house, she says. All that money when you could have had something more reasonable, like Brandon did. The lie hangs in the air between us. I stand up slowly, a napkin placed carefully beside my half-eaten meal. I didn't come for more lies, I say, my voice steadier than I expected. Macy, please. My father pleads, also rising. Family should forgive each other. I look at him directly, then at my mother, then at Brandon, who won't meet my eyes. Family should be worth forgiving first. The door closes behind me with quiet finality as I step into the cool evening air, breathing deeply for what feels like the first time in years. The morning sunshine spills across my kitchen counter as I arrange fresh-cut dahlias in the blue ceramic vase Eleanor gifted me. Through the window, I can see my garden coming alive, 3 months of determined work, transforming what was once barren dirt into something beautiful. The roses climb their trellis with quiet determination, mirroring my own journey. These Sunday dinners are becoming quite the tradition. Eleanor calls from my porch, where she's setting out her famous apple cobbler. At 83, she moves with surprising agility, refusing any help. Best day of my week, I answered, meaning it. The house feels different now, fully mine in a way it wasn't before. The dining room table that once displayed my family's absence now regularly hosts laughter. Rachel brings board games. Peter from work brings his guitar. My colleague Samantha brings her daughter who chases fireflies in the garden at dusk. I've grown comfortable with the rhythm of limited family contact. Dad calls occasionally, awkward but trying. Mom sends formal texts about neighborhood events I never attend. Brandon sends nothing, which is its own kind of peace. Until today. My phone vibrates against the countertop. Rachel glances over from where she's chopping vegetables. Your face just did that thing, she says. I turn my phone toward her. On the screen, Brandon's social media announcement glows. She said yes. Jennifer made me the happiest man alive. Engaged. Finally found the one. The photograph shows him beaming beside a pretty blonde woman, her left hand prominently displayed with what appears to be a diamond large enough to require its own zip code. Wow. Rachel says, didn't they just start dating last month? 5 weeks, I confirm, scrolling to read the comments. Relatives I haven't heard from in months have already liked and commented. My parents leading the congratulatory parade. My phone rings. Mom's name flashes on the screen. Macy. Her voice is unnaturally bright when I answer. Have you seen Brandon's wonderful news? We're just thrilled. Jennifer is absolutely perfect for him. I press my fingertips against my temple. Congratulations. We're planning an engagement party in 3 weeks. The whole family will be there. She pauses meaningfully. This is important, Macy. Family obligations come first, especially for something this significant. The familiar pressure builds in my chest, the weight of expectations wrapped in guilt. I'll think about it, I say, instead of my usual automatic agreement. Think about it? Her voice rises. This is your brother's engagement. After everything we've done for you. I need to go, Mom. Sunday dinner guests arriving. I end the call before she can respond, my hands surprisingly steady. Within the hour, my phone fills with messages from aunts, uncles, and cousins, all variations on the same theme. Family comes together for important moments. Your brother would be there for you. Time to put differences aside. The most telling comes from Aunt Susan. Your mother mentioned you might help with wedding expenses since Brandon is between opportunities again. Rachel reads over my shoulder and makes a sound between a laugh and a snort. Of course, the golden child needs another bailout. Dr. Foster's guidance from our last session echoes in my mind. You don't need to respond to every crisis. Selective engagement protects your peace. I craft one careful message and send it to Brandon. Congratulations on your engagement. I wish you both happiness. Nothing more, nothing less. The others receive variations of, thank you for letting me know. I'll consider my schedule when the invitation arrives. Look at you, setting boundaries like a champion, Rachel says, squeezing my shoulder. Dr. Foster would be proud. I agree, surprised by the lightness in my chest where dread usually lives. Sunday dinner unfolds with the comfortable familiarity of the chosen family. Eleanor tells stories about her late husband's gardening disasters. Peter plays a new song he's working on. Rachel teases Samantha about her crush on the new IT director. No one mentions weddings or family obligations or my duty to show up and pretend. No one suggests I should help pay for someone else's celebration. No one questions my worth. 2 days later, an unfamiliar number appeared on my phone. Is this Macy? It's Jennifer, Brandon's fiancée. My grip tightens. Yes. I hope this isn't inappropriate, but I'd like to meet you. Just us. Her voice lacks the polished charm Brandon typically seeks in women. There's something refreshingly direct about her. May I ask why? A pause. I saw what happened at your housewarming through old photos and comments. I've noticed how your family talks about you when you're not there. Another pause. I need to understand what I'm marrying into. The unexpectedness of her honesty catches me off guard. Coffee at Riverdale Roasters tomorrow at 2? I'll be there, she says, relief evident in her voice. That evening, Dad appeared on my doorstep, a cardboard box tucked under his arm. May I come in? I step aside, noting his careful respect for my threshold, a small but significant change from his previous entitled entries. He places the box on my coffee table. Found these in the attic. Thought you might want them. Inside are family photographs I've never seen me at 5, proudly holding a science fair ribbon, me at 12, sitting in Grandpa's workshop learning to sand wood, me at 16, beaming in front of the used car I bought with my own savings. I took these, Dad says quietly. Your mother thought it was silly to waste film on everyday moments. My throat tightens as I lift a photo of myself in a graduation cap and gown, face alight with achievement. Dad stands beside me, a rare smile on his face. We failed you, he says simply. I failed you. The words I've waited decades to hear land with surprising weight. Not satisfaction, not triumph, just a complicated ache. Brandon told everyone the engagement ring is paid for. He continues, staring at his hands. It's not. He used Jennifer's credit card with promises to pay her back. I wait, letting him sit with his complicity. Your mother wants me to convince you to attend the engagement party, to bring a generous gift. He meets my eyes directly. She doesn't understand that things have changed. Outside in my garden, Eleanor's wind chimes signal a shifting breeze. Some things have changed, I agree. Some haven't. Dad nods, understanding the boundary. He stands to leave, pausing at the door. The house looks beautiful, Macy. You've built something real here. 2 hours later, Mom arrives unannounced, barging in with familiar entitlement. This ridiculous distance has gone on long enough, she announces. You will attend Brandon's engagement party and behave like family, or you won't be family. It's that simple. The threat that once would have devastated me now feels strangely powerless. That's not a choice you get to make anymore, I tell her, my voice calm. Her face reddens. After everything, I'll decide about the party on my own terms. You can show yourself out. The following afternoon, Jennifer and I sit in the corner of Riverdale Roasters. She's nothing like Brandon's usual girlfriends, no artificial polish, no calculated charm. My parents divorced when I was 12, she explains, stirring her coffee. My father was like Brandon in many ways, charming, always the victim, never responsible. My mother enabled him until she couldn't anymore. Understanding passes between us. Are you sure about marrying him? I ask. Her smile is sad. No, but I need to see this clearly before I decide. I consider my response carefully. I'll come to the engagement party, I tell her. Not for them, for me and for you. Later, in my garden, Eleanor helps me deadhead roses as the setting sun casts long shadows. Will going back into that environment hurt you? She asks, her weathered hands gentle with the blooms. I consider the question. Perhaps, but I'm not the same person they think I am. Eleanor nods, wisdom in her eyes. Family isn't who you're born to. It's who sees you truly. 5. I look at my house, windows glowing with warm light, garden taking root, strength visible in every repair and renovation I've completed with my own hands. This house taught me what family should be, I say, realizing the truth of it as the words leave my lips. People who show up, people who stay, people who see you even when it's not convenient or comfortable. The evening breeze carries the scent of roses and freshly turned soil, growth and boundaries intertwined. On the engagement day, the cream-colored walls of the Westbrook Country Club blur past as Rachel and I walk through the entrance. The weight of my decision to attend Brandon's engagement party sits heavy on my shoulders, but my spine remains straight, my chin lifted. You look stunning, Rachel whispers, squeezing my hand. Simple elegance beats showing off any day. I chose a forest green dress that skims my figure without drawing attention. No statement jewelry, no elaborate hairstyle. Just me, unadorned and unapologetic. The murmuring stops as we enter the main reception area. Relatives freeze mid-conversation, drinks hovering near lips. Some nod awkwardly, others look away. I spot Aunt Susan whispering behind her hand to Uncle Robert, their eyes darting in my direction. Brandon stands near the gift table, his smile faltering as he notices me. He clearly expected an empty chair with my name on it, another opportunity to paint me as the difficult one. Jennifer waves from across the room, relief washing over her face. My parents approach with practiced smiles that don't reach their eyes. Mom's relief quickly morphs into something sharper, more calculating. Dad shifts his weight from one foot to the other, his standard response to impending conflict. You came, Mom says, her voice pitched for the benefit of nearby relatives. How thoughtful. Wouldn't miss it, I reply, keeping my voice light. The weight of unsaid words hangs between us. 20 minutes pass in small talk, with distant relatives, who suddenly find the weather fascinating. I stand at the refreshment table, sipping sparkling water, when Mom materializes beside me. Listen carefully, she hisses, face arranged in a pleasant smile for onlookers. Don't mention your house tonight. This is Brandon's moment. The old pattern tries to reassert itself. Linda dictates. Macy complies. Dad hovers nearby, his expression torn between intervention and preservation of the precious family peace. Mom, not everything has to be about you, she continues, rearranging canapes on her small plate. Just once, can you let your brother have his moment without competition? Before I can respond, Jennifer approaches, her cream cocktail dress catching the light. Her eyes darted between Mom and me, reading the tension. There you are, Macy, she says warmly. I've been hoping to catch you. Mom's smile tightens. We were just discussing family matters, dear. I take a deep breath, centering myself. Dr. Foster's words echo in my mind. Your response belongs to you, not to them. I turn to Jennifer, a genuine smile warming my face. I'm here to celebrate you, Jennifer. Nothing else matters tonight. The simple truth hangs in the air. Mom's fingers tighten around her glass, her manipulation attempt thwarted. Jennifer links her arm through mine, pulling me gently away. Thank you for coming, she whispers. It means more than you know. The evening progresses, a careful dance of social niceties. Then comes the moment Brandon rises for his toast, champagne flute in hand. Jennifer and I are so grateful to see everyone here tonight. He begins, his charm on full display. As you know, this year has been full of milestones for us. My new home purchase, this engagement. Jennifer's smile falters. Her eyes find mine across the table. The relatives who believed his apartment purchase story shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Aunt Susan studies her plate with sudden interest. I sit still, sipping my water, refusing to correct or engage. The lie collapses under its own weight as Jennifer's confusion becomes visible to everyone watching. After the toast, Jennifer pulls Brandon aside. Their heated whispers carry across the room. Brandon's gestures grow increasingly desperate as he glances toward our parents. Mom straightens the centerpiece with fierce concentration. Dad examines his watch as if time itself might rescue him. Later, I step onto the terrace for fresh air. The spring evening wraps around me, cool and clean. There you are. Jennifer appears beside me, her eyes red-rimmed but clear. Are you okay? I ask. She shakes her head. I had no idea how deep this goes. The apartment, the job promotion he never got, the savings that don't exist. Her voice breaks. Your parents know, don't they? They've always known. Yes, I answered simply. They've always known. How do you handle it? This family? I consider her question, watching the stars appear in the darkening sky. I'm still learning, but choosing the truth helps, even when it hurts. The terrace door bangs open. Brandon storms toward us, face flushed. What are you doing? He demands. You're turning her against me. Jennifer straightens. She's just being honest with me, Brandon. Honest? He laughs bitterly. She's always been jealous of me. Ask anyone in the family. I just did, Jennifer says quietly. I asked your cousin Mark about the apartment. He seemed confused. Brandon's mask slips, revealing the entitlement beneath. So what if I rent? Everyone embellishes sometimes. This isn't about the apartment, I say quietly. It's about the pattern. The family mythology unravels before everyone on the terrace. 3 other relatives have wandered out, witnessing Brandon's growing agitation. I gather my purse, suddenly weary. I should go. Mom appears in the doorway, her voice tight. Macy, don't make a scene. Dad steps forward, his face lined with something new recognition. Let her go, Linda. We've done enough. The simple statement hangs in the night air. Mom stares at him, shocked by this deviation from the script. I walk past them, head high, steps measured. The relatives part like water, their expressions ranging from confusion to dawning understanding. Outside, the spring air fills my lungs. Rachel waits by the car, a question in her eyes. Ready? She asks. I look back at the country club, its windows glowing with light. Inside, the truth has finally broken through. Whether they embrace it or continue denying it, no longer dictates my peace. Yes, I answered. I'm ready. The sunlight filters through new curtains, painting golden patterns across my dining table. A year has passed since I sat here, surrounded by empty chairs. Today, 8 place settings await, with vintage blue vases holding roses from my garden. 8 chairs that will be filled by people who choose to be here. I run my fingers across the oak table, remembering how it felt that day when my phone revealed the truth about my family. The memory stings less now, dulled by time and healing. Doctor Foster calls this progress. Something smells wonderful, Rachel says, appearing in the doorway with a bottle of wine. She's been here since dawn, helping prepare for tonight's dinner. Our Sunday tradition for almost a year now. Eleanor's recipe, I answer, smiling as I adjust a napkin. She swore her pot roast could heal anything. The walls around us tell our story better than words could. Photos of my chosen family fill spaces once reserved for blood relatives. Rachel and I painted the living room. Peter and Jane from work helping install bookshelves. Mrs. Eleanor taught me to plant hydrangeas before her health declined last winter. You should see the garden, I tell Rachel, leading her to the back door. It's wonderful. Outside, the yard has transformed from barren dirt to vibrant life. Eleanor's gardening lessons weren't just about plants. Gardens teach patience. She told me during our therapy sessions. Some relationships bloom quickly, others take seasons of care, and some never take root at all. Dr. Foster and I meet monthly now instead of weekly. Yesterday, she asked what I've learned in a year. I've learned to build fences, I answered. Not just the white picket one outside, but boundaries that protect what matters. At work, I mentor Alexis, a young engineer whose mother criticizes her career choices. Yesterday, she texted, "Your advice changed everything. I told Mom no to the family reunion. First boundary ever. The doorbell chimes, pulling me back to the present. Rachel squeezes my shoulder before I answer it. My father Charles stands on the porch, holding a potted plant, uncertainty etched across his face. Our monthly coffee meetings have been awkward but honest steps towards something new. I thought your garden might have room for this, he says, offering a small lilac bush. Your grandmother had one at our first house. I accept it with a genuine smile. It's perfect for the corner bed. Inside, Charles takes in the transformed space. The home my mother still refuses to visit. She remains locked in her narrative where Brandon deserves endless chances, and I remain ungrateful. Brandon blames Jennifer for leaving him after the engagement party truth came out. Last I heard, he moved back home, still spinning stories about opportunities just around the corner. The doorbell rings again. More chairs fill as my chosen family arrives. Laughter echoes through rooms once filled with silence. Charles watches from the periphery, his presence both foreign and familiar. When everyone is seated, Mrs. Eleanor's empty chair, an honored absence among us. Jane raises her glass. To the house that truth built, she says, echoing Eleanor's words from her final visit. Later, as twilight softens the edges of the day, Charles finds me on the porch. You built something beautiful here, he says quietly, in this house and in your life. I hear what remains unspoken. Regret, admiration, the complex tangle of a relationship that may never fully heal, but might still grow into something true. Inside, more friends arrive for dessert. My home glows with warmth visible from the street, so different from that empty house of a year ago. I welcome new guests at the door, catching glimpses of the family I've created. The realization settles in my chest like a deep breath. True family sees you clearly and chooses to stay. As night falls, I look back at my home filled with conversation and connection. Sometimes you set a table for 24, but only 8 show up, and those 8 become everything.